addressing complexities and tackling key obstacles. And our next speaker is Ms. Priya Prasad, CHRO, IndoStar Capital Finance Limited. Ms. Priya Prasad is a seasoned HR practitioner with 20 years of experience in strategic and generalist HR, specializing in performance and rewards management, talent acquisition, talent management, and HR analytics. She is known for leadership in complex situations and her strong communication and analytical skills. So, a big round of applause for Ms. Priya Prasad, everyone.
Thanks, Drishti, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming here for this session, and it's really nice to meet like-minded people from various industries and understanding what's going on their world. So it's always a great learning in such sessions wherein you get to meet so many seasoned people, HR people from different world, different industry, different locations. Whatever we say or we do, we may belong to different industry, but one thing we all know that HR remains common, right? It's the thread which binds the organization. In fact, I was having a conversation with someone a few days ago, and we were talking about how a doctor is so important in our society, right? And why are they important? They deal with human lives. They deal with human lives. They can't go wrong, right? The quality of a doctor defines the lives they are dealing with. Similarly, I feel that role of HR as such in the corporate world is very, very critical. We too deal with human beings. At the end of the day, it's the lives of the people that we are touching across, and that's where I was drawing this thread of being a doctor and being an HR practitioner is equally important. And let me share a brief about my organization before we take it ahead with a brief presentation. So I am from IndoStar Capital Finance. We are an NBFC. We deal into used commercial vehicle segment. We are a retail organization. And we have been in business for 13, 14 years, backed by a PE promoter, Brookfield. Last 2-3 years have been quite a journey with the organization, and that's where I thought let me share our story with the people from the fraternity, and I decided to come here. So as you all know, we are going to talk about navigating challenges, dealing with complexities, what are the priorities of HR, how do we overcome the obstacles, and all these things. So this is an ever-evolving ecosystem, right? So we have business strategies changing day in and day out, every year, if not every day. But at the final level, the business strategies keep changing. And with the people changing in the world, obviously the business strategies do get impacted. Regulatory norms in NBFC vertical I have experienced is very, very critical. You can't evade your regulations, your compliances, and everything. And we being a listed entity, we are watched by the regulators day in and day out, and we need to be really, really mindful. And it's not only for the business. It's equally important for the HR that we know that what are the compliances which are governing us, and how do we abide by it. Any change in management, and I think we will come back to this. Any change in organization structure, any change, like if you're changing the vertical, if you're realigning a few verticals, you are getting new business functions, everything impacts the role of HR, whatever you're doing. And well, we have been talking about technology all the while, and it's an evolving space, extremely evolving space, and technology is something which is touching not only business right now, it's touching each and every individual in the organization. As simple as marking your attendance to getting your exit formalities done, playing on the analytics you can draw from the technology, all these things are assisting people in taking business decisions, right? So these technology is very, very important aspect, and as an organization, IndoStar, we are striving to be a fintech company. So it's impacting us extremely every day. because there is a lot of uncertainty as technology evolves. People feel very, they get into a different space when they feel that a new technology is coming. How will we deal with it? What will happen to our jobs? Will it replace us? So all those things are still a reality, whether we accept it or not. So these are some of the HR priorities actually I thought of while I was jotting down this presentation, that people strategy is very, very important. While our ecosystem is evolving, it's very important that we have people strategy in place. And I'm a huge fan of writing down things. It should not be in the air. You should have your people strategies defined. What are you wanting to focus while your business is focusing on XYZ? What are your priorities as an HR? How do you talk about or manage your talent? So it's not only about attracting the right talent, engaging them, keeping them engaged all the while, making sure that they deliver values, they deliver performance outcomes. How do we helping them grow with the organization is very important. And then also important is that while they are growing with the organization, how are we dealing with the leadership team? Because as an HR, it's important that you are assisting your peers also to settle down in this evolving organization, in this changing ecosystem, but you're also assisting your lower strata of the people in the hierarchy to understand what are the changes and how it will impact them. Employee experience is something which we all need to actually accept that this is the reality, and how do we make them stay engaged is the distinguished employee experience we try to create for them. And it can be in the form of hiring, very simple. Like, do they feel involved, or do they feel that the organization is equally involved, or it is just an offer letter going to them? So my organization is present 90% in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 kind of cities. And the people we deal with may not be fitting into the metro kind of culture. So how do we create a distinguished culture for them where they feel more welcomed, where they feel that they are required and they are adding value? If they are delivering performances, are they being seen and heard and acknowledged? So we have to create an ecosystem for such people as well. And how we assist them in growing with the organization. Are we investing enough? So like if I have my branch business head at certain level and they're leading a team of 5-10 people at the ground level in a, say, city like Dumka or Malda or Tirunelveli, how do I connect with them? How do I tell them that how they can grow with the organization? Am I investing or connecting with them enough to help them grow in the organization? And creating an equitable organization. I was just talking to one of the panelists or the speaker over here, Sonika. So we just had a discussion that the kind of industry we operate in, I can't think about building a gender diverse organization. Honestly speaking, the kind of people we deal into in a used commercial vehicle segment in a tier 3, tier 4 cities, will I be able to create strong infrastructure, logistics, ecosystem for that one single woman operating out of XYZ location, which half of us might not be able to name it. Trust me, that's the reality for me right now. So our focus is, rather than creating a gender diversity organization, let's focus on multi-generational, multilingual kind of people. So we operate out of 22 states. And one of the things recently we did is when we redefined our core values, we redefined our core values in 22 languages so that they can understand what does it mean. When we are talking about values sitting in corporate office, do they really understand? So that is one of the way of connecting with people. So not only designing it in 22 languages, we are disseminating it widely. So we are making them read it, we are making them put a printout, read it, explain your team members. We are connecting with people and telling them that that's how we connect as an organization. That's how everyone is recognized and respected in the system. And well, staying human as everything is evolving. And I think for the role of the CHRO, it's very important that you are approachable. You are someone wherein people get that comfort and warmth that they can open up. Keeping that communication channel open is very, very important. If you're not able to connect in the language, you should be connecting emotionally with the person, right? I might not be able to speak Tamil or Malayalam or Telugu or Kannada, but then there should be one language, empathy, which is understood by everyone. So are we focusing on that enough is also very important. So while we talk about aligning HR priorities to the organization goals, obviously vision mission is very, very important. And in fact, what we did in last 1 year, it's been exactly 1 year that we redefined our vision and mission and core values, everything across the organization. And it was not only redefined in the sense just a piece of language on a piece of paper, but then we went ahead with it. We conducted multiple town halls, virtual calls, regional meets, and disseminated the revised values and mission, values, vision, mission, everything with the entire leadership, middle leadership team, so that they understand what we are talking about and how it's going to impact them. If we are going to focus only in retail segment, only in used vehicle segment, we will not be doing new vehicle. So all these decisions, if we are taking, and how we are touching the economically weaker segment by getting into this business, how we are impacting the environment while we are saying that we will not be funding certain kind of vehicles. So all these things that our people at the ground level need to get aligned to, because these are very finer details. They might not understand. For them, it might be just funding a driver, right? But for us, we are impacting like society. We are giving them loans which they are maybe not able to get from banks or any bigger organization. So how we are touching them. But then while we are talking about these things, how do we tie it down to the last level of the organization? We talk about performance management system, right? So how did we define the entire performance management, taking it down to the last level, that how it will help us to achieve the overall goal or the vision or the mission of the organization is very important for us. So what we did, we finally defined the performance metrics for everyone. So starting from the CEO. So a CEO also runs a BSc. The leadership team runs 1/4 of their BScs as CEO's BSc, and similarly it is percolated down till the last level. At the ground level, we run workshops to make them understand that how these KRAs are important for you, how you can make money out of it, and what's the opportunity to earn incentives out of it. So we did all that, because while we are talking about achieving the vision and mission of the organization, it's important that the last person in the hierarchy is equally aligned. And we can do that only by communicating with them. The good thing with my senior management is that they are pretty much multilingual people, and they are able to connect in multiple languages, and that's actually helping us in a way. So I think that's one way of, I know it can't happen by design, but then we have been lucky in that space, but we should actually give importance or the leverage to such people also. In the CHRO role, we should identify the people who can speak in multilingual space, because that's how you connect when you are present pan-India. You are present in tier 2, tier 3 cities wherein they don't necessarily understand the language we speak in at corporate office. So how making them understand the KRAs, making them understand in their language, running workshops, so all these things have been like really critical for us. Well, business as usual will always continue. We all will have our hiring till firing and the people coming, going, performance appraisal cycles coming in. Everyone is, I think, busy with that and tied up with working out the budgets and everything. But then there are certain aspects of the role as such is getting into the strategic space. Whatever we are doing, even if it's a performance management, is it fair enough? If we are doing the hiring, is it fair enough? Are we creating brand champions or the people advocacy through the people who are leaving the organization? Are they leaving with the right feeling? Are they our brand ambassadors? So these are some of the things I think we need to actually be mindful of. While we deal with multiple things, these are some of the things I felt that which is really expected from this role is regaining trust. While we were going through change for last 2 years, our attrition rates were like crazy, to put in a single word. We were losing people while we were going through changes, while we were redefining our business strategies. And we tried holding them back. And there was a point we thought, like, whosoever is leaving, let them leave. We will rebuild the organization. We tried holding them back. But gaining that trust through multiple communication channels was very, very critical. And that's what builds the organization and the culture. So we started doing that. We started connecting with people more often in multiple platforms. We had multiple talk sessions by the CEO or the CFO, and they started translating the vision to the people at large. And that helped them in gaining trust back in the organization. In last 1 year, if I see, our business volumes have grown multiple fold, as in at least 4 times from what we were doing last March compared to this February. Our headcounts have grown by 50%. My attrition rate has gone down by 50%. So my attrition rate has exactly slashed to what it was divided by 2. So I think somewhere these communication channels, these things really helped us. But apart from that, as I was talking about fair and objective performance management, that was one important piece we did, and I'll take just 5 minutes. So we worked immensely on that, and cost and resource optimization is something very important. We need to be really, really mindful of it. Whatever we are doing, we are taking initiatives, whether it's in line with the strategy of the organization or not. If we end up spending without any plan, I don't think it will help us in long run. So we need to be why we are doing something and why we are not, and how it's going to help the organization. What is the ROI of whatever we are doing? It's very, very critical. And obviously, like technology we spoke about, and overall well-being of the people is, we can't evade that question, right? So mindfulness and safe and happy workplace is something which is ingrained to any organization, and we have to be a compliant organization, not only labor laws and regulations and all these things, but also the larger regulators which are very important for the industry. We need to understand what's happening in their space. If they're saying that, I think there was a mandate a year ago that your head of compliance and secretarial can't be one person, right? So how do you plan out these changes in the organization at the leadership level? So you have to segregate the role, you have to identify a new leader. So how do you navigate through these things is also very important. I'll quickly talk about what we have done in IndoStar context. So while overcoming the obstacles I spoke about, while losing people and going through the various changes as an organization, so entire leadership team was incidentally new in the entire plan like we went through as an organization. And that gave us a lot of leeway to build people's strategy with a new mindset. So whatever we were doing, we stopped doing that. We thought we will work on just 4 elements: culture, people, technology, and processes. And while we have spoken about culture and people and transition, I personally feel process is something which is the basic DNA of the organization. It sets the culture of the DNA of the organization. If your processes are not right, if they are not in place, your policies are misaligned to the overall philosophy, it will not work. You have to redefine each and every policy. The smaller sets of policies, even employee reimbursement kind of thing or travel plan, very small things. But these things impact organization hugely because they touch not only from the financial perspective, but also people perspective and overall strategy perspective. So working on these things is something we have done very consciously, I would say. These were the conscious things that we did as an organization. We redefined our core values as an organization. And this was thought through. We called it reach because we wanted to reach to certain level. We wanted to reach to our employees. We wanted to touch people's lives. We reached to society as well. So reach is resilience, ethics, accountability, collaboration, and high performance for us. And this was not by chance. It was by design. Each and every element of it was thought through that why we are wanting to do this. We have been resilient. We were able to prove that we are resilient. We have bounced back from a difficult situation. Why ethics is important, why accountability is important, how collaboration is important for my business function, sales, credit, collections, how they need to be aligned, that if someone is doing a disbursement, how it will impact the credit function and how it will impact the delinquency or the NPA of the organization. All these things need to be tied up. So that's how these things are quite thought through. We also believed in creating an employer brand, and because the reputation that you earn in the industry is very, very important. That's one of the prime role of HR, right? It will not lie with anyone else. They all can be subset to it. They can help you build the brand and the culture of the organization, but HR is the driver of it. HR is sitting in the driver's seat, and they have to do it non-stop manner, right? So these are some of the elements we worked on consciously again. So I have never thought that things happen by chance. You have to design it, you have to plan it, you have to structure it. Few things will happen by chance. Like I said that I have my leadership team, multilingual leadership team, but then rest of the things I would say we'll have to design, we'll have to plan what we are wanting to achieve. There should be a strategic element, there should be an end outcome which should be very well given. And this is now again coming back to the people strategy. Next year, we will be focusing only on 3 things: fostering right culture, nurturing and retaining talent, and building capability. Not a wide platter of menu, very selected few things, but well designed, well presented, well garnered, so that it can resonate with what people are expecting and how we are wanting to grow with our vision and mission in the world. So that's all from my side. I think I've taken enough time. Thanks so much for bearing with me. I would have really loved to hear from some of you, your journeys, how it's been, what all you have been doing. If anyone is wanting to share, please feel free. I think I'm good. Thank you everyone for being a kind audience. Thanks so much.